Coming up tonight, the bill that would disband and disarm political party militias encounters major setback as stakeholder engagement, and 29th April emergency approval is postponed.
We are taught that the reason why the bill was brought under the federal agency was because of they dealt with an urgent, important matter. But the government has decided that what is more urgent than important for the recall might be to consider the company's bill.
We have the very latest on this. Also tonight, NDC demands overhauling of interministerial committee against illegal mining as they accuse government of endorsing criminality in the complex Galamsey menace.
These revelations we submit are disgraceful, reprehensible, and make a mockery of the foreign policy and the much touted Ghana Beyond Aid mantra.
Government must immediately overhaul the committee and review the approach they have so far taken.
Victims of the Kumasi Central Market defiles city authorities' order not to rebuild as KMA and NADMO consider the future of the shops with total demolition key on the agenda.
My brother, we have families who rely on us. They told us to wait, but we can't wait for them. We are working with loans which we have to pay.
But what they've done, they don't have the right to do it because on KMA property, without permits, you can't develop.
Tonight we hear from NADMO and the Ashanti Regional Minister as the police explore possible arsonists for the 4 fires recorded within 3 days.
And in business, Ghana's trading community urged to protect the city by making the right decisions. More from MD of Stanbic Bank in 30 minutes.
In sports, Isaac Dogbe vows to eschew complacency as he prepares for a second showdown against Emmanuel Navarrete in a bid to reclaim the WBO Super Bantamweight title.
And on the 100th birthday of the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Dr. Osman Nuhu Shaributu, he talks about his life of bravery, books, stage plays, and bedbugs.
I was divinely inspired to follow the ways of Allah. I also saw signs of protection in the sense that not even bed bugs stung me, even when others are stung on the same bed.
We have all the details here on Newsnight. I am Emefa Apau.
And my name is Evans Menz. I want to join us with your views and comments. Send us a WhatsApp 0244 340 437.
And tonight, for those of us who are eagerly waiting to make inputs in the vigilante and related offences bill, will have to wait a bit longer.
And that's not all. The bigger disappointment is that the approval of the bill, which was to be done under a certificate of urgency, may also not happen. After all, it was announced earlier that a stakeholders meeting will be held tomorrow, April 24, followed by an approval when the House is recalled under that certificate of urgency. In fact, that was scheduled to happen on the 29th of April, just next week. But John is learning that it will be nearly impossible for both events to happen. In fact, there is a confirmation tonight that there will not be the emergency recall to consider the emergency passage of the bill. But also, the consultations have also been postponed till later. This is the explanation the chairman of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, Ben Abdallah, gave a while ago.
Originally, we planned to have a stakeholder engagement to discuss all the memoranda on the 24th of this month. Okay. But due to the fact that we want to give the public enough time to study the bill in order that we could get as many memoranda as possible, the committee had to postpone the holding of the stakeholder engagement to a date which is yet to be fixed.
But it appears that there could be another reason besides wanting to receive a number of memoranda from the public. What is the real reason why we are postponing the stakeholder engagement? Is it that all the parties are not cooperating? Or all those stakeholders or those that you are expecting to participate are not cooperating?
And as at now, I haven't got any information that somebody is not cooperating. Because in any case, the memoranda are so coming.
So we were of the understanding, interestingly, that on 29th, when Parliament is recalled, at least this bill would actually make a showing on the floor. So it looks like that is not going to happen.
In fact, it will be difficult for me to say that it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. But what I can say for certain is that when Parliament is recalled and Parliament decides to sit, it will be dealing with one of the major outstanding bills that are before Parliament, which is the Companies Bill. You know, the Companies Bill was started before Parliament went on recess. The Companies Bill is also as urgent as the Vigilantism Bill. Yes, we'll deal with the Companies Bill on the 21st, 22nd, 29th, 30th, and probably up to 1st May is a holiday to 2nd May, and we have to deal with other matters. But whether we will be able to deal with the Vigilantism Bill, I'm not in a position to tell now.
But is this, the postponement of the stakeholders meeting, would you say it's a major setback for the committee's work?
No, it's not a step back. It's not a step back. More especially, you know that the Peace Council is still in a meeting with the political parties. Mm-hmm. We are yet to get the outcome of the meeting of the Peace Council with the political parties in order to get the committee better informed as to the way forward concerning the Vigilantism Bill.
But your work is not dependent on what the Peace Council is doing, is it?
Our work is dependent on a number of issues. The Peace Council is meeting purposely because there is an issue at stake.
So the argument for some is, if your work actually is also dependent on what the Peace Council is doing, why then did we not wait for the Peace Council to finish their work? Then we can start the processes of enacting a law. But we did not wait for that to happen, and then this process was also triggered. So then why are we waiting for them to finish?
No, I haven't said that our work is dependent on the outcome of the outcome of the meeting of the Peace Council with the political party. But what I'm saying is that we need to wait and get a lot of views, including the outcome of the meeting of the Peace Council with the political party.
So it appears that there's a slightly different, I guess, more in-depth account of why this was postponed. And you got that from the ranking member of the committee? The
ranking member on the committee, Alhaji Inu Saifuseni. I first asked him about the progress made so far.
No work has been done on it so far. Indeed, we have programmed to take it today, 23rd of April 2019, by receiving a memoranda from the public, only to be told last week that the President and the majority leader have decided that the bill should take second place. And that when we are recalled to Parliament, we will actually be considering the Companies Bill and not the Vigilantism Bill. So we have rescheduled our engagement with the public for the 13th of May 2019.
And what you're saying is, when Parliament reconvenes on Monday, we are not looking at
the information that we have been given by my chairman and the leadership of Parliament, that we will not be considering the Vigilantism Bill. We'll actually be dealing with the Companies Bill.
But I thought it was under a certificate of emergency.
That's why we are surprised that the Vigilantism Bill has to take back stage. We had thought that the reason why the bill was brought under the particular agency was because of they dealt with an urgent, important matters. But the government has decided that what is more urgent and important for the recall might be to consider the Companies Bill.
Were you surprised by this?
We're very surprised. Indeed, we were not told that the recall would be to deal with the Companies Bill. We all left Parliament upon the understanding that we're coming back to deal with the Vigilantism Bill, only to be informed later that the bill was no longer a priority. So we are surprised. Yes.
But what could be your suspicion as to why government would change its mind at the last minute?
Well, there could be many reasons. But one reason that I know is that the Companies Bill has been on the drawing table for a very long time and has been part of the government World Bank CP in its engagement with government. And the World Bank, I understand, has given government out to 1st of May to pass the Companies Bill into law.
And both can't be done?
No, both cannot be done on the same day. The Companies Code has about 500 provisions.
So it's not that, as some would say, maybe the vigilante or this bill, actually, the vigilante bill is not that important like we thought it was for the government.
Well, some people can say that. I've had a series of engagement with other people who think that government is backtracking on its stated intent to pass a law to regulate political activities that touch and concern vigilantism. And so some people can say that.
But do you think that government is backtracking?
Well, Well, now I have no evidence to point to the contrary, except that I know the government is under tremendous pressure to work on their own vigilantes before the bill is passed into law. I know that as a matter of fact.
So that's Alhaji Inusa Fuseni, the ranking member on the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. You heard also earlier the chairman of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, Ben Abdallah. Thankfully, he joins us on the line. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight, Mr. Abdallah. So when we spoke earlier, you gave reasons as to why the stakeholders meeting, for instance, was not going to happen. But speaking to your ranking, he actually gave a different date as to and gave reasons why this bill will not be approved on the 29th. The reasons he gave are tenable. Are they true?
Very well. I didn't hear all that my ranking said, but like I said when you interviewed me earlier on, that the major reason why we may not be considering the vigilantism bill stems from the fact that we want to engage public the more. We want to give the public enough time to enable the public to submit a lot of memoranda. So that when Parliament resumes on the 29th, we are definitely going to deal with the company's bill, and then thereafter probably will be fixing a certain or a definitive date to engage the public to deal with the vigilantism.
Okay,
bill.
so he gives us the new date that you've set, which is the 13th May, but we'll tackle that shortly. But he also tells us that it's because of the pressure that you're getting from the World Bank to pass the company's bill. That is why you have to shelve the vigilante and other offences bill in order to do that.
I don't know that pressure is being brought to bear on Parliament to pass the company's bill because pressure is coming from the World Bank. I'm not aware.
So the
of that.
pressure is coming on government. We are told government has a 1st May deadline to pass the company's bill.
But what I know is that the company's bill is one of the bills that have been on the shelf for a very long time. You know, in the previous Parliament, it was started, and because Parliament was dissolved, it lapsed. And this time around, because we have started the company's bill, we got to clause 210 before Parliament went on recess quite recently. We want to finish with the company's bill when we resume on the 29th, so that when we go back and resume later in May, we will not be dealing with the company's bill anymore. But as for the vigilantism bill, I think that it's not one of the bills that we'll be dealing with when Parliament is recalled on the 29th.
That's not what we were told when Parliament was going to be recalled on 29th. We're told you're going to consider this particular bill.
Very well. Let's resume on the 29th and see what happens. Because as it is at the moment, I cannot say with certainty and exactitude that the vigilantism bill won't be considered on the 29th. From 29th till we break again, coming back home for recess. Because at all material times, it is leadership that decides the business of the floor. So let's leave this to the leadership of the House. They will decide whether when we resume on the 29th, we may consider the vigilantism bill or not. But one fact is very certain. What is certain is that the committee decided to engage the public on the 24th of this month. That will not take place anymore.
And that, from what we understand, has also now been postponed to 13th of May, the consultations.
As for the 13th of May, I think that is a tentative date. That has not been confirmed yet, because the committee hasn't met to decide on a definitive date for the stakeholder engagement.
But don't you see the concern that people may have? Seeing the urgency with which the president has spoken about this vigilantism bill, the swiftness with which it was presented, you almost passed it the night before you went on recess under a certificate of urgency. In fact, that was a majority's position. The minority fought it until there was some consensus. Now we can't even fix a date for the consultations.
No, we didn't almost pass the vigilantism bill on the night that we went on recess. what we decided on that day was that, yes, the vigilantism bill was urgent, but we thought that it wasn't prudent to pass the vigilantism bill a day before Parliament went on recess or the day that Parliament went on recess. What we thought was prudent was that we needed to give the public time to read the vigilantism bill, analyze the vigilantism bill, and bring their perspectives to Parliament by way of memoranda in order to get the committee better informed as to the way forward for, dealing with the vigilantism bill. It's not as though we said the bill was urgent, but we have decided not to deal with the vigilantism bill urgently. That is not the issue.
But it appears, or the impression is that this vigilante and other related offences, bill was not such a priority after all, like you made us believe.
No, it was the government priority. That explained the reason why the bill was crafted immediately. The bill was brought to Parliament immediately. The bill was brought to Parliament under the certificate of urgency.
So you said that it was. Is this still a priority?
Yeah, it is still a priority. The fact that it is a priority doesn't mean that when we come back on the 29th, we have to pass it on the 29th or 30th. That is not the issue. It still remains a priority. The government is determined to pass the vigilantism bill as soon as possible. But what we are saying is that government is still in meeting with the Peace Council. Peace Council is still in meeting with the political parties. Let's wait for the outcome of the meeting of the Peace Council with the political parties in order to get the committee better informed, in order to get the whole of Parliament better informed. Because the vigilantism bill is a bill that concerns almost everybody in this country. It concerns the political parties. It concerns the religious bodies. It concerns the Peace Council. It concerns Parliament. It concerns the executive itself. And, of course, it should concern the judiciary. So it's not a bill that we think that we should quickly pass it into a law. We need to slow down, take our time, engage very broadly and expansively, get a lot of thoughts, get a lot of views, and engage everybody almost in this country in order that at the end of the day we can get a vigilantism bill that can stand the test of time.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That's Ben Abdallah, is the chairman of the Legal Constitutional Affairs Committee in Parliament. Let's bring in the head of the National Commission for Civic Education, Madam Josephine Nkrumah, joins us in the line. Hello, Madam Nkrumah. Thank you for your time here on Newsnight.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners.
You must be happy with this, because I know you had wanted more time for consultations. Now, it appears when the committee went to sit, they have reconsidered the urgency, the feared rush. They are saying to us tonight that they want more consultation. So there's no fixed date yet for consultations. There's no fixed date yet for passage, as we were told. Your reaction?
Well, in one breath, I am relieved that it gives other people or other stakeholders the opportunity to submit their memoranda in order for us to have an enriched engagement and enriched discourse on the floor of Parliament. So in that respect, it does give everybody that opportunity, that window to come and to submit their views and make the bill, fit for purpose. But then I begin to worry about things concerning, there's no fixed date for this, there's no fixed date for that. And in as much as it was meant to be a bill that was so important that it was supposed to be passed under a certificate of emergency, if you now decide that you want other people to submit, their views on it, I would still expect that some dates would be set so that we can, monitor progress. But as it is, where do we stand? How do we know how soon Parliament is going to sit and consider this bill. So that for me is also a concern. But I'm happy for now that at least people can submit their views on the bill. But what I'll say as well is that for NCC, we have submitted our reports to the Office of the Speaker of Parliament. We have submitted it to members of Parliament electronically, and we hope that they can use the findings of our engagements to also enrich their discussions and enrich their information in order for us to have a good bill. So that is where we stand. I'll also urge that the media will continue to play its role. We'll all put pressure, especially on the two political parties, to ensure that at some point in the very near future, we would have a bill, we would have a clear roadmap on how we approach vigilantism in this country.
Grateful that you joined us. That's Madam Jocelyn Nkrumah. She heads the National Commission for Civic Education.
So, meanwhile, the United Nations says it is prepared to assist Ghana deal with the issue of political party militia. Special Representative of the Secretary General for West Africa, Dr. Ibn Chambers, says current state of affairs poses a security threat to the next election. He was speaking at a lecture in honor of Ghana's Chief Imam.
2020 will be a year of elections in West Africa, as Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Niger, and Togo also hold presidential elections. We can therefore, in anticipation of a politically tense year, associated, of course, with electioneering campaigns, be inspired by our presence here today in unity, NDC, MPP, all together, and by the teachings of Dr. Sheikh Shaributu, reiterate our collective commitment to a peaceful electoral process guided by the spirit of tolerance, respect for diversity, and mutual understanding, so that Ghana emerges at the end of the day the winner.
You heard Dr. Ibn Chambers. Now, speak of birthdays and the Sheikh Nuhu Shaributu.
And that's where Ibn Chambers was speaking at the event to celebrate the man, the Chief Imam Sheikh Dr. Usmanu Nuhu Shaributu. Started with, we've known very little about him, but we've been getting to know some really exciting, interesting details about the man, Chief Imam. We know now that he started his life with a different career goal and ambition. Never thought that he would become the Chief Imam, to become, guess what, a teacher. But today he celebrates his 100th birthday, and I guess we all wish we can even get to 80.
Of course, and more.
with almost 30 years of this spent as a head of Ghana's Muslim community. Today, speaks about how he rose to his position. A story about books, bravery, and bedbugs.
I want to use the platform of this message to make a sincere, personal appeal.
Alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa
rahmatullah. Sheikh Usman Nuhu Shaributu was born in April 1919 in Old Fadama here in Accra. His father, Sheikh Imam Nuhu Shaributu, was the Imam Ratib of the Accra Central Mosque in the late 1960s to 1982. And his mother, Hajia Aishatu Abbas, is said to have been one of the people who shaped his life and legacy. Growing up, there was one career ambition the Sheikh had: to become a teacher.
All I wanted to do was to teach, like my father did.
This was after an opportunity to study under the feet of various Islamic scholars around the country. At a point, he was a stage actor.
The fact that back in the day at the madrasat, my father taught us drama. We performed drama in the Arabic language during the period of study. That was to inspire and motivate us to even learn the Arabic language the more. Those performances at the time laid the foundation for the formation of drama troupe and the beginning of concert in Ghana.
Sheikh Osman held various positions in the Muslim community, including Deputy Greater Accra Regional Chief Imam and later the Substantive Regional Chief Imam. Ironically, there was one position he detested: the Chief Imam of Ghana. Here's why.
And I felt that taking up the imamship would somewhat hinder my work, so I didn't want to be an imam.
But Sheikh Osman says there were many things that pointed to the fact that Allah wanted him to take up that position. For example, his thoughts became reality and he enjoyed a special divine protection even from bedbugs.
Whatever I thought about came to pass, and at that point, I realized God had a special plan for me. I was divinely inspired to follow the ways of Allah. I also saw signs of protection in the sense that not even bed bats stung me, even when others are stung on the same bed.
Today, he celebrates his 100th birthday, and he's got a message for the Muslim community.
I want to urge the Muslim community and the general population to put good deeds at the forefront of their lives. That is the surest way of achieving greatness.
Interesting. That's a report put together by Fifi Kumsing on the life of the chief imam. Now, in a profile published as part of the centenary celebration of the great religious leader Sheikh Osman Nuhu Shaributu, we've been told that he was born on 1919 in Old Fadama here in Accra. Meanwhile, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is warning Ghanaians against disturbing the peaceful coexistence between religious sects in the country. According to him, there are similarities that unite Christians and Muslims than divides them. He was speaking at a breakfast lecture to mark the 100th birthday of the Chief Imam.
As Muslims and Christians, let us not take the freedom and peace we enjoy for granted. They were achieved through the converted efforts of noble men like Sheikh Osman Nuhu Shaributu and the Christian leaders we have in the country. At our various levels, let us emulate this beautiful example of humility, compassion, and tolerance exhibited by the National Chief Imam. In fact, many people don't realize that between Muslims and Christians, there is actually more that unites us than divides us. Lot more. We worship the same God, this Allah, the same God, the God of Abraham, the God of Moses, the God of Isaac, the God of David, the same God that we all worship. We all revere the Virgin Mary. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told all of us as Muslims that amongst all the faiths that we have, we as Muslims should be closest to the Christians. That is what he told us, that we as Muslims should be closest to the Christians because they are good people. So today, if you are a Muslim and you say you don't like Christians, it means you don't understand Islam. And if you are a Christian and you say you don't like Muslims, then you don't understand Christianity.
We deserve a standing ovation for that. But the special representative of the Secretary General for West Africa, Mohammed Ibn Chambers, also described the Chief Imam as a crusader of religious tolerance and a unifier whose actions has bonded the Christian and Muslim communities.
Since assuming the office of the National Chief Imam, he has brought added meaning to the position and elevated it beyond the remit of worship through his involvement and impact on different aspects of our life as a nation. In his role as the National Chief Imam, he has provided spiritual leadership to the Muslim community, the Ummah, and indeed to the whole nation. He established the Council of Ulamas to promote understanding among Islamic leaders, mediate disputes across the country, and to prevent violence in Muslim communities. Hence, the rapid and huge decline in such disputes in the communities. Upon the proclamation of the Islamic national holidays, he consulted with Islamic stakeholders, and he didn't just limit it to one sect, across the sects, for a consensual date for the observance of the holidays. This led to the establishment of the Hilal Committee, which, among other things, created harmony on issues of the dates for the celebration of Islamic events, a matter which had hitherto been a source of division and tensions and suspicions among Muslims nationwide.
The Dr. Ibn Chambers, once again, happy birthday to the Chief Imam.
There's some messages on the on our WhatsApp console on that. This one says, happy birthday to the National Chief Imam. He has indeed transformed Islam in Ghana for the better. I'm grateful to him. That's Haji Mohammed Salia Fiawura. The reason why I guess it's become such a topical issue, it's not necessarily the fact that he is 100 years old. It's a symbolism of his visit to the church over the Easter period, on Easter Sunday, the Resurrection Sunday. The symbolism of religious, exactly. And people then. When I saw the story, I didn't believe that it happened, but it did happen. It was such a beautiful thing,
Very
actually.
beautiful. I was in church when I saw it. I was shocked.
Yeah, I mean, but positively, I guess.
Yeah,
we need more of those. You said 1919. Where was I?
Where were you? I'm sure your grandmother had not met your grandfather for your father to be born.
Most definitely.
But
yeah.
I live around Fadama this evening.
That's where he was born.
There's a lot. No, I'm saying that I'll pass by his house this evening. I'm sure there will be some
free rice. The particular rice they cook.
The brown
goodness
stew and the dry meat.
My grandparents are they're Muslims. So when my grandmother cooks the rice for Salah, goodness, it's just heavenly. Hello, Charles.
Hi, Evans.
What you asked me about 1919? What was I asked Charles?
Oh, I know he asked me.
Yeah, Charles, what do you have in the headlines of business?
All right, so coming up in business, Ghana's trading community has been urged to defend the local currency by making the right choices. You're going to be hearing from the MD of Stanbic Bank, Al-Hassan Andani, on this one, and the Minister for Food and Agriculture targets 22 million seedlings for the Planting for Export and Rural Development initiative this year. Business News on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN. Welcome to a new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials. First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
No, I lost again. Mommy, can you please buy me some coins for my game from Play Store? Please?
Kojo, how? I don't even have a debit card.
Hey, Mommy, don't you know? You don't need a debit card to buy on Play Store. You can pay with MTN Momo.
Can I?
Yes.
Hey, Kojo, how do you know?
Mommy, everybody's talking about it at school.
Really?
You can now use MTN Momo to buy your favorite apps and games on Play Store. First, choose the app or game you want and select the MTN Momo option to pay. It's that simple.
Yes, I did it. Mommy, I won.
We day for you, everywhere you go.
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Let us help you bank with the right bank. At First National Bank, we're more than just a bank. We're a digital partner that actually understands your business. Enjoy massive value with our various banking solutions. Get a business check account, a day-to-day transactional account for all businesses from all sectors of the economy. Access our online banking enterprise and bank your way 24/7. Invest with our short or long-term options that enable immediate access to funds. Optimize your cash flow, raise capital, and acquire assets with ease with our lending solutions. Trade with speed, consistency, and innovation with our global payments and forex solutions. With so much value up for grabs, there is no reason not to bank with First National Bank. First National Bank. How can we help you?
Honey, I need to get some.
But I don't have cash on me. Let me get some fuel quickly and let's go.
And how are you going to get the fuel? I thought you said you didn't have cash on you. What is this one?
My Puma card.
All it takes is a card. The Puma card allows you to buy fuel cash-free from all Puma energy filling stations. You can use your Puma card with any Visa points of sale and ATM across the country. The Puma card also works on mobile money. You get amazing discounts when you fill up with your Puma card. So register for free and get your Puma card instantly at any Puma filling station.
And you only got one for yourself, eh?
Yeah, would I have had that piece of mind?
Oh, thank you, honey.
And where are you going?
I'm getting something from the shop real quick. I need to test the card.
Puma card. Cash-free convenience.
Imagine living in a world of comfort and luxury. In a well-planned and gated community with access to an ultra-modern sports complex which has Olympic-sized swimming pools, football, basketball, athletics, and gym facilities. I'm talking about Eden Heights, the new destination for luxury in Ghana. Eden Heights is developed with the highest grade of finishing in our penthouses and our 1 to 4 bedroom apartments, and is located close to the beach resorts along the Atlantic Ocean, about 30 minutes drive from the airport and 5 minutes walk from the West Hills Mall. Eden Heights is the ideal location for luxury. Visit us at edenheights.com.gh or email to sales@edenheights.com.gh or call us on 050-153-1444 or 050-153-1445 for more information. Eden Heights, welcome home.
99.7 FM.
And you're welcome back to business. The details now. Managing Director of Stanbic Bank, Alhassan Andani, has appealed to the trading community to protect the city through prudent trading activities. Speaking at the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting, Mr. Andani says he believes that passionate efforts by all stakeholders to make good use of the currency without relying much on the dollars can strengthen the city.
Choices for imports are about consumption, and literally anybody can consume. So they tend to be easy choices. Choices about producing goods and services that are of competitive standards, both in your country and outside of the country, are very tough choices. Are we as Ghanaians choosing the easy path, which leads us nowhere, or are we choosing the difficult path that would lead us somewhere? The comment somebody made around being an oil exporter, importer, and wanting foreign exchange, that conversation should have been addressed to the person next to him to say, what are you doing to ensure that you bring in dollars to help me import my oil?
And that was MD of Stanbic Bank, Alhassan Andani, speaking today at the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting. Now, Head of Economics Department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Professor Bam Boatin, says the growing unemployment in Ghana is mainly due to a skills deficit. According to the Labour economist, contrary to claims that there are no jobs, they are mainly readily available. There are so many readily available jobs for the country, just that the unemployed do not have the employable skills for these jobs. He believes that investing in the skill set of Ghanaia's youth will go a long way to deal with the situation.
Not all graduates don't have the skills. And let's also point out that it depends on the type of employment opportunity you create. So if the employment opportunities that are being created or the jobs that are being created are in areas of, let's say, science, technology, and then we are training less number of people in science and technology, and to me that the jobs will be there, but you will not get people to fill it. So that is one aspect of mismatch as we talk about.
Head of Economics Department at the University of Ghana, Professor Bam Boatin. Now, the Minister for Food and Agriculture has targeted 22 million cedis for the Planting for Export and Rural Development Initiative this year. The Minister for Food and Agriculture says the government is hoping to prepare 22 million seedlings for farmers under its yet-to-be-rolled-out Planting for Food and Rural Export Initiative. The Planting for Export and Rural Development Initiative, which will be launched this year, is aimed at promoting rural economic growth and help generate export revenues from six crops that has to do with cashew and, of course, other crops as well as cotton and oil palm. We shall be playing that very sound of the minister in our subsequent bulletins. But just before we leave, the opposition National Democratic Congress is hitting hard on government, asking it to fulfill its promise of restoring sanity in Ghana's mining industry. According to the opposition, the Nana-Addo-led administration has failed in its fight against illegal mining, which they say has cost the nation millions of Ghana cedis. Speaking at a media encounter, the communications director of the NDC, Sammy Gyamfi, called on the government to show good will by prosecuting all persons, particularly government officials, involved in illegal mining.
The law is not a respecter of persons. So, in enforcing the law, there must not be any discrimination. That because one is from China, he can get away with the brazen impunity of violating our laws. But when it comes to Ghanaians, they can be shot and killed. This 2 billion Sino-Hydro deal, this government has been celebrating as the best thing ever to have happened to Ghana. As we have already indicated, it's not even a grant, but a commercial transaction. It is not free money. Sino-Hydro is in Ghana to do business and to make profit. It will take a whopping $38 billion to rehabilitate the land, or to reclaim the land, our lands, and forest reserves, which have been destroyed by the activities of illegal miners.
And that was Communications Director of the NDC, Sammy Gyamfi, ending business on Newsnight, MFA.
And we continue from where you left off, Charles, because they are also demanding an immediate overhaul of the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining as they accuse government of endorsing Galamsey. We can hear from the Communications Director of the NDC, Sammy Gyamfi.
It can be reasonably deduced from the senior minister's comment that at the center of Ghana's bilateral trade relations with China is an obscene willingness on the part of the Akufo-Addo government to condone plain criminality and the flagrant disregard of our laws, all in exchange for money. Ghanaians have every reason to be appalled and outraged by the honest revelations of Mr. Osafo-Maafo, which reflects the inner thinking of the Akufo-Addo government. These revelations we submit are disgraceful, reprehensible, and make a mockery of the foreign policy and the much touted Ghana Beyond Aid mantra.
Well, Sammy Gyamfi tells John his government cannot continue expending taxpayers' funds on members of a committee who are compromised, he alleges, as exposed by Anasa Remayanas.
Clearly, the evidence shows that that committee is now an active vehicle which is promoting and facilitating the illegal menace. And we cannot continue to expend the scarce resources of state on such a venture. Already, millions of taxpayers' money have been spent on this committee. And yet, the reality on the ground shows that environment is being depleted even more now. Water bodies, forest reserves are being destroyed. And these people who we entrusted the responsibility of dealing with this canker of illegal mining have rather turned around through corrupt means to line their pockets, and to undermine the very fight they were supposed to champion. And so it is untenable for us to continue to spend the scarce resources of state on such a venture. Government must immediately overhaul the committee and review the approach they have so far, taken in this fight.
And that's Sammy Gyamfi. He is the communications officer of the National Democratic Congress.
Now, traders affected by the recent Central Market and Asafo Market fires are busily reconstructing their bench shops in clear violation of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly's directive not to do so.
Well, the two markets suffered fire outbreak during the Easter festivities, but the cause remain unknown, though the KMA suspects arson. The National Disaster Management Organization is leading calls for the total demolition of the market to save it from a future disaster, but mistrust for the KMA is forcing the traders to reconstruct. My colleague Nana Yaojima spent some time at the Kumasi Central Market and filed this report.
Traders are reconstructing the new stores on the foundation raised by last Saturday's fire. This, the NADMO has declared unsafe. Traders say eagerness to return to their trade is reason behind their actions. My brother, we have families who rely on us. They told us to wait, but we can't wait for them. We are working with loans which we have to pay.
1 year,
We have lost everything. We have no money. If we wait for them, we might die. They should do their assessment as soon as possible, so we go back and reconstruct our stores. Earlier, the KMA had asked traders to wait for a thorough investigations into the cause of the fire before reconstructing their shops. KMA Mayor Osei Esibe Entry has described actions of the traders illegal.
We want them to stop. First of all, I want to take the report from NADMO and fire before it will inform me about my decision. But what they've done, they don't have the right to do it, because on KMA property, without permit, you can't develop. And we have to even inspect your design. We haven't inspected anything, so how do they go ahead and start building? We will not tolerate that.
Aside the central market, the Asafo market was razed down by fire on 2 separate occasions in 2 days. The National Disaster Management Organization has expressed worry about illegal siting of structures in the market. NADMO boss Eric Ajimai Prempeh wants the KMA to enforce its bylaws to deal with market fire.
The olden days, when they built the market, there was a bigger access when you went around with us. There were water hydrants all over, about 3 of them. Fire service got the one, apart from the fact that they were unable to get access into the market. When they got access later on, all the hydrants had been covered with an illegal containers. Therefore, they couldn't get even the hydrant until later on somebody drew their attention that under the illegal containers, there are water hydrants there before they were able to get it. By then, the fire has gotten to some kind of level. So the indiscipline part of it on our side, as citizens, is also bad. How can you use an illegal kiosk to also cover the water hydrants? I mean, look at all this. So we are telling KMA that they have to bite.
Nana Yaujima reporting.
Now, some few meters from the Kumasi Central Market is the Asafo Market, which was constructed before Ghana gained independence. And due to its current state, the Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, Nana Ajimai Prempeh, wants the facility demolished immediately.
We've done the search and rescue part of it. We are in the process of the assessment. But I've been around. My technical people have been around. The mayor and his team has been around. What I can say is that the market needs to be reconstructed by whatever means, and it should be immediate. Looking at what is happening, if you are not careful, we're going to experience what happened in Kwame Nkrumah Circle, the twin disaster of fire and water together here in Asafo. Because if you look at the drains, the records are there that at any time there's rain, the place gets flooded, very heavy. And then with this water that is happening, that's exactly what happened at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and we don't want that to repeat itself in any part of this country. So I am in consultation with the Accra Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. We're going to talk to Ministry of Works and Housing as part of the special program Works and Housing Ministry is doing in expanding the drains in the country so that it can accommodate the flooding waters. They should extend it to this part of Kumasi, that is the Asafo market area. And then I'm going to talk to Ministry of Local Government also, so that together with the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, we look at how best this market will be reconstructed. Because if you look at the whole place, there are no access.
It's been 3 fires over the weekend in 3 days. Started on Good Friday, Saturday, and then on Sunday. And then Sunday afternoon, there was another one. This time it was a church. But the KMA Mayor, Osei Esibe Entry, tells us that he suspects arson.
Now, I think I have to be very blunt. It is not just an accident that we are witnessing. It started with the Central Market, which we all thought that it was maybe an accident. Yesterday, a fire took place, and today. But now, looking at the occurrences of it, everything is clear that it is an arson. People are behind it. So from here, I'm going to report to the regional minister, who is the head of the RESEC, that a team must be deployed immediately.
So that's the KMA Mayor, Osei Esibe.
Well, this is an announcement that we had to make. It's coming in from NADMO. It's a weather warning, and the pest is severe enough to warrant immediate, sharing of it, and I'm sure it's circulating out there. But NADMO wants to alert the general public to observe what they believe to be a severe weather warning that has been put out, and they're particularly advising, cautioning the general public to be alert, to stay safe, especially vehicle drivers, to avoid driving through floodwaters. Especially we've seen some deaths when people have tried to use the floodwaters, and that individuals should avoid, low-lying areas, living in flood-prone areas. They should take refuge at safe havens in their localities in order to avoid any casualties. NADMO is warning. The specifics are that the Met Office has put out a weather warning for today, and which will affect the western portions of the northern sector, and is currently producing thunderstorms and rains over areas like Bole, Sola, and their environs. A separate storm initially sighted at the middle portions of Togo is now affecting parts of the Oti, Volta, and Bono East regions, with thunderstorms and rains of moderate intensity. The storm is expected to propagate west and southwestward to affect most parts of the middle sector as well, and that these areas are Ashanti, Eastern, Western, North regions, a few places along the coast this evening as well. And so please take note of this weather warning. And the areas I've mentioned, some areas are already experiencing the thunderstorms and the rains. Bole, Sola, their environs are experiencing that already. All parts of Oti, Volta, and Bono East regions will have thunderstorms and rains of moderate intensity. We're also expecting storms to hit Ashanti, Eastern, Western, Northern regions, Western North regions, and few places along the coast this evening. NADMO has put out, emergency numbers you can call in case you need help tonight wherever you are. 999. Select option 4. That emergency number. There's also 0299 350 244. If you listen to us and you're caught up in the thunderstorms in the places I've mentioned and you need help, please call the numbers 999 option 4 or 0299 350 244. Hello, Hans. Hans are the latest in the world of sports. Hello, Hans.
Hello, Evans. Say Nehu.
Nehu.
Right. So Isaac Royalston Dogbe has vowed to go all out and not be complacent as he prepares for a second showdown against Emmanuel Navarrete in a bid to reclaim the WBO Super Bantamweight title. Dogbe, who admitted underestimating his Mexican opponent in their first meeting in December 2018, says he's learned valuable lessons and will not repeat his mistakes.
It has to be one of my toughest fights due to lack of preparation. Like I said, a lot of things that happened were not in my control. You could say maybe I did underestimate Navarrete a little bit due to the fact that, like I said, I was hopeful, that I was relying on my other attributes when things were not going too well, so it's part of it. From 2017 through to 2018, all my fights has been by knockouts, if you check my record. So when it gets to a point, sometimes you feel that, okay, though I may not be in the best physical shape of my life, maybe I can rely on this. And that's what happened. I can rely on my skill. Sometimes you need a skill and the stamina and the strength. They all work hand in hand. You cannot work on one and leave the other. That's a lesson that I've learned.
His British accent is very obvious there. Yeah. And no wonder one time when he was on top of the world with the titles,
Absolutely.
the UK papers were all over him, claiming him, yes, as theirs.
But he's Ghanaian. I don't think there's any...
Fully, yes.
He's an ever.
He's a Ghanaian.
Does it matter? The chief imam has shown... Nehu. What does it mean, by the way?
It's into, you're giving...
She can't even explain it.
No, there are certain things that you can't just explain. Okay. You need to
describe.
Be part of it to
understand it. It's a call to action, basically.
More like
Neho.
Right.
No.
So that's
the none ever explained it, and the ever lady is struggling too. Well, listen to News Night here on Joy 99.7 FM, and I hope, Hans, you were right though, because we'll get messages very soon confirming whether it's a call to action or not. Well, let's hit the trail on our campaign, Bring Back Our Tidy Girls.
Now, family of the 3 missing Takoradi girls say they are losing confidence in the ability of the police administration to locate and rescue the kidnapped girls. Ruth Quayson, Priscilla Blessing Bentum, and Priscilla Crunchy are believed to have been kidnapped between August 2018 and January 2019. Now, the main suspect in the kidnapping, Sam Ututeg Wills, is currently before the Takoradi Magistrate Court after he escaped from jail in December 2018. But you recall that the police CID boss, COP Tiwa, Mami Tiwa Adodankwa, told a news conference just some weeks ago that they know the location of the girls but have yet to rescue them. Today, Nathalia Kwanza visited the family and reports.
So today marks exactly 3 weeks when COP Mame Tiwa Adodankwa announced that the 3 Takoradi kidnapped girls are safe and the police force know where they are. It's been 3 weeks. According to family, they've not heard anything. They've not seen anything. Today here on Joy News, we are here to interact with the families to find out how they are coping with the situation.
It's very disheartening. Today is exactly 3 weeks when we heard this. Initially, we were all excited. We talked to some experts. What they were saying is it could be that they found the girls, but because of their condition, they want to treat them medically. So if it is true that they know where the girls are, the best thing they could have done is invite the family. Let the family, some of the family members, talk to the guests. Wherever the condition they are, they will be revived. But all these things have not been done. 3 weeks now, we have not hearing anything from them. So what we intend doing, on the 30th of this month, that is 30th April, we are going to launch Madam CID Boss. Hashtag Madam CID Boss. We want to see our guests. Then 1st May, if there's no peace in secondary Takoradi Metropolis, May Day, what are workers going to do? A lot of workers here, they find it difficult even to go to work and leave their daughters or children at home.
Eda, yet a press conference in Yenuaji. Numum. Na.
We were happy after the comments made by the CID boss on the whereabouts of our missing girls. But till now, nothing has been done. We are still in doubt and very confused. I sometimes call the Takoradi CID and he keeps assuring me the girls will be found. Mami Adwa, we are still waiting and praying for you. We are hopeful that you will return safely. We pray for God's protection and guidance upon your life. And we know you will come back to us soon.
So that's Natalia Kwanza's.
I was nearly going to say amen, but I stopped because there's another prayer we need to put on top of this before we actually wrap up the Easter festivities, correct?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Okay, so Good Friday, we went to church, we said a prayer, and then Sunday we also were in church a prayer. But all the festivities are over. You were not working.
I had a proper, restful holiday.
Okay, I was working. So we need a prayer to officially bring a curtain down on all the festive season, like everything that we did.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's invite actress Moisha Budon to give us a closing prayer for the festive season.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this meeting. We thank you for bringing everybody.
Emma, you want to help her?
Help her.
You should?
Yes, you should.
You should.
Oh, Father, we thank you for everything that you've done for us, what you're about to do and what you will do in our lives. We give all our lives to you and thank you for everything. Amen.
Amen. Moisha should learn a thing or two from you, That's it for News Night tonight.
I am Emma Falpo.
And my name is Evans Mins. Enjoy the rest of your evening.